این متن رو من همخونی بکنین. اسمش هست The Paradox of Stillness in a Moving World. In an age where every second is measured, monitored, and monetized, the notion of stillness seems almost subversive. We live amid relentless momentum, emails cascading into inboxes, notifications flickering across screens, conversations clipped short by the buzzing call of elsewhere. Yet within this whirl of perpetual movement, a quiet paradox endures. True depth, true connection, and true understanding often emerge not from action, but from intentional pause. Consider the simple act of listening, not the kind of listening that is merely waiting for one's turn to speak, nor the distracted nods of polite pretense, but real, active listening, the kind that demands presence, patience, and an openness to being changed. You see, listening at its very core, at its highest form, is itself a form of stillness. It is an act of deliberate surrender, a temporary suspension of the self in service of another's unfolding. Anthropologists, in their long, patient studies of distant cultures, have long known this truth. The anthropologist does not simply arrive in a village, clipboard in hand, expecting the richness of human experience to pour forth like water from a tap. No, they sit, they observe, and they wait. And in that waiting, sometimes days, sometimes months, a relationship of trust is woven. A relationship of trust is woven, thread by invisible threads. Words follow trust, meaning follows words, and understanding flowers from patience. But this is not merely the domain of scholars and scientists. The curious mind, be it a student leafing through ancient texts, a traveler stepping gently through unfamiliar streets, or a child pausing to watch a caterpillar inch along a twig, must also learn the art of stillness. For all genuine learning begins not with answers, but with reverent attention, the kind that sees more by slowing down, the kind that notices the flicker of wonder behind the eyes, the tremble of uncertainty in the voice, the hesitations between sentences where truth sometimes hides. Every human interaction, whether between friends, between lovers, or even between complete strangers across a counter, carries within it a seed of potential transformation. But that seed is fragile. That seed is fragile. It cannot be rushed. It cannot be extracted on demand. It requires the fertile soil of attention. It requires the fertile soil of attention, the water of sincerity, and, above all, the sunlight of time. The traveler who truly sees a country does not simply snap pictures and rush on. They linger in alleyways. They sit on benches with the old men who speak in dialects thick with time, who speak in dialects thick with time. They let their feet grow dusty with the earth of another's world. They ask questions that have no immediate answers, and in doing so, they find that destination is not a place, but a presence. Likewise, it is the student who learns deeply, does not merely accumulate facts like trophies. They wrestle, they wonder, they listen to the silence that follows a difficult idea, and to the inner stirrings it provokes. They learn to sit with confusion as a companion, not a threat. True curiosity is not a grasping, but a yielding, a willingness to be undone and remade by what one finds. Now, modern psychology echoes this ancient wisdom. The human psyche does not yield its secrets to interrogation. Healing, growth, and self-revelation often happen not through the brute force of effort, but through the gentle invitation of presence. In therapy rooms, in classrooms, even in casual conversations, the space between words often matters as much as the words themselves. The space between words often matters as much as the words themselves. And silence, when honored, speaks. Yet paradoxically enough, stillness is harder to achieve today than ever before. In a culture that prizes speed, productivity, and spectacle, stillness can feel like negligence. To sit quietly while others rush past can trigger guilt, anxiety, even shame. And yet, the greatest movements in human history, revolutions of thought, of politics, of spirit, have often sprung from moments of deep, courageous stillness. Before Martin Luther King Jr. marched, he prayed. Before Gandhi mobilized millions, he fasted. Before great ideas ignite, they germinate in silence. Stillness is not about disengaging from the world. It is about engaging more wholly with it. It is not absence, but presence. It isn't absence, it's presence, not apathy, but attention. To inhabit stillness is to develop an inner still point from which all outer movement gains meaning. It is to enter the world not with urgency, but with reverence. Learning to be still is learning to see again, to see the small flecks of a smile, the weary sag of someone's shoulders at the end of the long day. At the end of a long day, the proud defiance behind a child's question. It is about reclaiming the music of natural speech, the rising and falling cadences that reveal emotion, the subtle shifts of pitch that betray longing, fear, or hope. It is about remembering that language is not a machine built for efficiency, but a river meant to carry feeling. To speak well is to listen well. To listen well is to live well. And so it is, the paradox persists. In order to move others, we must first learn how to be still within ourselves. And that stillness, we discover not an emptiness, but a vast and resonant world. A world where every word matters, every breath counts, and every human being is, at heart, a mystery waiting to be honored, waiting to be honored. Tell me about it.